I know a lot of people smoke because it might keep them from doing worse things, or you know, there's a lot of things to cope with in life, and for some reason that became their vice, if you will, and I totally get it. But it's like I don't really want another headache, because it's a whole thing to, you know, I drink a lot of water, I stay hydrated, I do a million things to try to keep myself together as healthy as way as possible. And it's just a little odd that a lingering smoke smell aroma just kept going for blocks, like 2.5, 3 blocks. Usually it's like, oh, you know, there's someone standing outside of this office space smoking. But this is like, what up? You know, there must have been like 50 people out here smoking on every corner. I don't necessarily see them, that's the thing. So maybe they're ghost smokers, creating an aroma of very cheap smoke, or someone's trying to send a message, you know, from the dead, you know. So anyway, which way? I've tried Turo. I was in a desperate situation and I needed to retrieve my belongings, which I kept in a U-Haul storage facility in Florida because I had to hurry up and move back to Philadelphia. And it was during the end of the pandemic, so it was like you couldn't do one-way car rentals. There were a whole bunch of restrictions in place. Otherwise, I would have brought the stuff back with me. It was kind of a catch-22 because I wasn't sure where I was going to live. Like, I applied to one, I had like 3 weeks to hurry up and figure out, you know, in Florida, like to leave my mom and aunts. But anyway, one place I couldn't get into, so it was like, well, I'll have to just go back, pay for hotel rooms. Thank God I work for Shipt. I have no idea what to do. I also had to pay for storage and put all my stuff in storage. I was able to get the smallest one, but still I had belongings that I had to traipse all the way from Philadelphia down to Florida. Over the course of like a 1.5 years, it took me to do that because of all kinds of limitations. Anyway, so I would have to go down, retrieve my belongings from the U-Haul facility in Gainesville, Florida, and I have a small credit line on a credit card. I don't like to have bigger ones also because of whatever reasons. I've just never extended the credit line and blah blah blah. So a whole bunch of stuff started in 2011, so it's kept me sort of with a ceiling to work with. So I was like, I can't really run a car to go down because I still had a Florida driver's license, and the hold for incidentals or whatever that thing is, they put a hold on your card for any damages or what have you. It would have been twice the amount of, you know, of what is normal should I have had a Pennsylvania license. So I was like, I can't do that. And I checked around and that was pretty much the standard. So I was like, all of a sudden Turo came up as an option, and it made things a lot easier because they don't charge the same amounts that, say, Enterprise or your regular rental car companies would charge. So I really appreciated it. Some guy in Jacksonville, Florida had a fleet of cars. Like, he just had like 4 or 5 I'll say Lincolns, but they weren't really Lincolns, but they're in that category. And I was, you know, there's a whole system. It's like Airbnb. So he was telling me like where the car would be, I forget how it all worked. If he had to give it to me, like drop it off at the airport with him in it, because the key would be in it. I forget how that worked, because when I dropped it off, like I left it for him, and then you take a picture, but I'm not sure where the key is. Anyway, I forget how the key situation goes. Anyway, however it worked perfectly for my needs that particular weekend. I took like a long weekend, like 3 days, flew in, had to empty out. I stayed at an Airbnb, used Turo, and then you know, returned the Turo and came back. And I flew like Frontier both ways, so it was Frontier. You can get sometimes even for $14 if you're super lucky. It was like during an off period, and that's that. And I wanted to thank specifically someone from New York who made a donation when I put up a GoFundMe page saying, you know, I'm trying to get my things from Florida. I'm having a hard time because I still have to find work in Philadelphia. And I'm afraid to spend too much money. Like, I was living in fear. I still am a little, but you know, it's still the thing of I just want a normal life again. And a lot of people stole that from me outright. We are talking, it's bad what happened. So angels, invisible ones, are at least keeping me alive and kind of going without being overly obvious, because they're trying to figure out who the problem is, how dangerous the root of the cause is. Not necessarily everybody who played along. There are people who thought I would die or go crazy. So what I say to them is basically that. Big middle finger to you. However, all those groups that thought I would die or go crazy, I hope you get what's coming to you. And you probably will, because the world has a way of coming around. Goes around, comes around, as they say. And I didn't provoke anything, so there was no reason to do whatever they did to me. These are people who can't handle life. They're very weak, and that's why they did this to me. Only weak people target others. Isn't that funny? So, alright, so we got quite the mess here. We got quite the crowd at Trader Joe's. We see, I pass this person every once in a while. I always think this person's like in the FBI, because I see them. How's the FBI look? Through the way. Reminds me of Stephanie. Yeah.
Can I carry that?
Do I need this? So sorry, I gotta. What am I looking for?
Staff, I'm going this way.
She had to bump my cart 3 times. So we have aggressive people in here who do things on purpose, and they will bump your cart on purpose. And it's like, well, no, they probably, you know, blah, 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 so forth and so on. But no, it's pretty aggressive here. So I can't wait to find a peaceful place to live. And we have to figure out where it's okay for me to go.